Hi guys and welcome to our GIS channel. I'm Mustafa Ghiasman with a holder of Master degree in GIS. My major field of work focuses on GIS software development by using GIS and models. I have several years experience in spatial development by integrating ArcGIS engine components with an object-oriented programming language in custom desktop applications and using Esri APIs in WebGIS applications. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. In the first part, I'll start with the definition of GIS and try to explain where we are and what we want to do. The next part is dedicated to understanding ArcObjects. There, I'll try to explain the basics of ArcObjects to give you an overview. In the end, we'll look at reading objects model diagrams. There, I'll try to explain how to use the ArcObjects diagram to help you write some code. We can see the definition of GIS from various kind of resources, and the most have main components of GIS in common. A GIS is an organized collection of computer, hardware, software, geographic data, and personnel designed to effectively capture, store, manipulate, analyze, and display data related to position on the Earth's surface. From the definition of GIS, 5 main components can be recognized, including software, people, methods, hardware, and data. And we're going to dive into software components. GIS software products can be sorted into different categories: open source software and commercial software. In this course, we focus on software products from ESRI company, and now we know that ArcGIS is the most powerful mapping software in the world. There are 5 main GIS software categories from ESRI company. From desktop GIS, we all know ArcGIS for desktop, ArcReader, and ArcExplorer. We probably know ArcGIS for server and ArcIMS from server GIS products, and SDKs for .NET and Java, and mobile, for example, from developer GIS, and of course ArcGIS engine that needs to use to develop standalone mapping applications, and ArcMap and ArcGIS for mobile from mobile GIS categories. In this course, we focus on using SDK for .NET from developer GIS products from the company. As a developer of ArcGIS applications, we have to work with ArcObjects. Let's start with the definition of ArcObjects. ArcObjects is a library of components that make up the foundation of ArcGIS. They are installed with ArcGIS Desktop engine and server. Programmer at Z writes C++ code to build ArcObjects classes. Let us start to tell you about the ArcObjects in more details. The first and important thing is ArcObjects are not objects. They are classes. They are building blocks of ArcGIS applications like ArcMap and ArcCatalog. As I said, everything in ArcGIS applications are built from ArcObjects. Menus, toolbars, tools, and even every dockable window are built from ArcObjects. Even every layer with different geometries, points, lines, and polygons are built from ArcObjects. So it's very important to know when you're working with ArcGIS application, you're working with ArcObjects. So the main point here is why we have to learn about the ArcObjects. My impression is that even you are a GIS expert, learning ArcObjects provides you more flexibility with working with ArcGIS. For example, we all know ArcGIS applications are very powerful tools in mapping functionality, but sometimes they don't meet our needs. For example, sometimes you need for GIS automation, so using ArcObjects is one of your ways. Or maybe develop a tool or an extension. Sometimes we need to develop a standalone application with mapping functionality without using ArcGIS applications, or even WebGIS applications. We need using ArcObjects in all these scenarios. So ArcObjects can be used in the following ways: customization of ArcGIS desktop applications, building standalone mapping applications, and developing WebGIS applications. Customization of ArcGIS can be done in the 4 ways. Configure user interface of ArcGIS by using the Customize window, using Model Builder by providing graphical interface and without need for coding. But sometimes we need more flexibility and you have to use Python scripting. And using ArcObjects is one of the ways for customizing of ArcGIS, and also it's one of the ways for GIS automation. So in this course, we focus on customization of ArcGIS by using ArcObjects. For using ArcObjects, we need software development kit. Like ArcObjects, SDK can be installed with ArcGIS Desktop engine and server. With SDK, we have access to invaluable resources of sample codes and documentation. There are 2 types of SDK for ArcGIS Desktop developers: SDK for .NET Framework and SDK for Java. In this course, we focus on using SDK for .NET Framework, and our IDE is Visual Studio. Okay, let's start with our first program, which is reading the name of first layer in an active data frame in a specific document in ArcMap application. Before coding, let me to give you a good advice. For learning ArcObjects, the best way is doing the same with ArcMap application before coding, of course, if it is possible. So, for reading the name of first layer, the first step is open the ArcMap application. As we know, ArcMap application and everything in the application is built from ArcObjects. The next step is to select our specific document, and now I select session document, session 1 document, and then open. Of course, the next step is find active data frame, which here we have one data frame which is by default active data frame, and then read the name of first layer, which is cities here. So our steps are reading ArcMap, reading map document, find activated data frame, and then read the name of first layer name. But now, where is the classes? Where is the class of ArcMap, map document, data frame, and layer? There are 2 indispensable and important tools for GIS developers that can provide roadmaps for GIS developers: ArcObjects Developer Help and Object Model Diagrams. Let's start with ArcObjects Developer Help. ArcObjects Help, Developer Help, which is offline. When you install SDK, you have access to ArcObjects Developer Help locally in your system. I expand the ArcObjects SDK for ArcGIS, and then ArcObjects reference. All ArcObjects classes are categorized in these namespaces. You may know some of them, like ArcCatalog, ArcMap, Carto, Display, Geodatabase, Geometry. Okay, where is our classes? Where is the class of ArcMap here in ArcObject? I select the ArcMap namespace and then ArcMap object model diagram. You can download the OMD for ArcMap here, or you have access to the object model diagrams in your developer kit and diagrams directory in your system. For each namespace, we have one PDF object model diagram. For example, for ArcMap namespace, here we are ArcMap object model diagram. I open the ArcMap object model. Here is ArcMap object model. ArcObject classes are showed by UML language, Unified Modeling Language, which is a graphical language. Classes are showed by rectangle shape. Here we have application class and report class in ArcMap object model. Application class is the class of ArcMap application. Let's take a look at application class in more details. I'll tell you about all kinds of classes and relationships between classes in the next session, but for now it is necessary to know some details. Each class has its own properties and methods, and these properties and methods belong to an application interface. These are interfaces of application class. For now, we have to know we communicate by interfaces between classes. And these properties and methods belong to an application because an application stick in the inner edge of the application class, and other stick to outer edge of application class. So it is important to know these properties and methods belong to an application interface. So the next step is to find the class about the document in ArcMap. Where is the document class? We can see a wormhole here, which is used to show us MX document class is in ArcMap UI namespace. So let me to open the ArcMap UI object model diagram. ArcMap UI object model diagram. Let me zoom in to find MX document class. Okay, here is MX document class, and here is again Arc application in ArcMap wormhole. Application in ArcMap, MX document in ArcMap UI, MX document in ArcMap UI, in ArcMap UI. The next step is finding data frame class, and then read the name of first layer. Again, ArcMap UI namespace and image document class. You have to find the class of data frame. Okay, there is again a wormhole mapping cartoon. The name of class in ArcObject for data frame is map. So to reach the map class, you have to open cartoon namespace, object model diagram of cartoon. Let me open object model diagram of cartoon. Here is cartoon. Okay, here is cartoon, and zoom in, and here is map class. Here is map class, and again MX document in ArcMap UI. MX document in ArcMap UI, mapping cartoon, MX document in ArcMap UI, and in here is map in cartoon. Here is the class of data frame in ArcMap application. Okay, the final step is find layer class and then read the name of first layer. So where is the class of layer? Again and again, here is wormhole to show layer class, layering Carto layers. And now we are in Carto namespace. So where is the layer class? Page 3, you can find layer class in Carto with the default interface of iLayer. And here is the name property of layer class. Okay, to recap the main points, to read the name of first layer in an active data frame in a specific document in the ArcMap application, we have to do 4 steps. Open ArcMap. The class of ArcMap in ArcObject class is application. Open the our document. The class of document in ArcObjects is MX document. Get activated data frame. The class of data frame in ArcObjects is map, and then get the layer class. Okay, we are ready for coding. Before programming with ArcObjects, you have to be familiar with an object-oriented programming language like C# or VB, .NET or Java. In this course, we use Visual Studio IDE and C# programming language. For a start new project, I click on New Project link. My default language is C#.NET, and then I expand the ArcGIS node and then select Desktop add-ins. There are 4 types of add-in: ArcCatalog, ArcMap, ArcScene, and ArcGIS. I select ArcMap add-in and browse to my favorite folder, is Introduction to ArcGIS, and then the name of layer, get layer name, solution, get layer name, solution. Okay. In ArcGIS add-in wizard, we can set some parameters for our add-in. I'll tell you about this in the next session. Don't worry about them, and just remember our add-in name is get layer name. And I click on next, and then you have to check the add-in type. I check the button, and then class name, get layer name, and caption, get layer name again with space. Okay. The most important thing here is a category in the add-in controls category. Our add-in will add to the add-in controls category in ArcMap, and then finish. Okay, here is our first program. And here is our parameters. For example, class get layer name. I'll tell you about it in more details in the next session. And now we want to write some code in get layer name. I double click on it, get layer name.cs, and we have to write our code in the unclick event. Okay, we're ready for coding. And our first step is read the ArcMap class. ArcMap.application. ArcMap.application is our first step when you're writing your add-ins. It's very important that ArcMap.application returns an object that implements iApplication interface. And again, ArcMap.application returns an object that implements iApplication interface. And here is ArcApplication and iApplication interface. So when you write that, you have to access the properties and methods of iApplication: caption, current tool, and document. Caption, current tool, and document properties, and for example, new document, open document, print document. New document, open document, and print document. You're exactly the same with the OMD and with the developer help of application class. So, how we can access, how we can communicate between application class and document class. Application class and document class in ArcMap UI. You have to find a way to communicate between these classes, because I know the second step is to read an object that implements IMX document or an object of MX document class. So we have to find a method property in the application class from my application to help us to communicate between two classes. Look at these, please. Caption, current tool, document. Document returns an object that implements iDocument interface. I'll tell you about it in the next section. Don't worry about them. Just here, look at it. Look at here. Document properties return iDocument interface. And here is iDocument interface from MX document class. So we find the way. If you want to know exactly about these properties and methods, you have to find and read ArcObjects developer help. Here, ArcObjects reference, ArcMap, namespace, ArcMap namespace, classes. Here is application class, and the application interface. I click on it. This is exactly the same: caption, current tool, document, find extension by CLS ID, find extension by CLS, caption, current tool, and document. And you can find a small description about every property and method, or you can click on it and find more description of it, or sometimes sample code. Okay, we want to use document property. Okay, here is more details about document property, which returns iDocument, and snippet codes and sample codes. We will use snippet codes in the next sessions. So document property of application interface is exactly the same. We want to communicate between two classes, application class and MX document class. So we have to write a variable, an object of iDocument, and then assign the value. Okay, iDocument, document, and then application dot document. Inside document, when you don't have IntelliSense window in Visual Studio, maybe something is wrong with you. The type or namespace name iDocument could not be found. So we have to import the references that iDocument is defined there. So where is the reference of iDocument? Here is iDocument. I click on it, and iDocument interface is in ArcGIS framework. In the reference, and here is as.arcgis.framework. Now we already have it done it, so we have just using as3.arcgis.framework. Okay, now it's correct. And the next step is to find a way to go through our step. We have to find a way to find map object in Carto. Map object of map class in Carto. So we have to find a way to communicate between these classes from document to data frame. The default namespace of map class is IMAP, and the default namespace for IMX document is IMX document. Again, we have to find method property to return an object of map class. I zoom again, and we can find IMAP here, and maps and IMAPs, and focus maps and IMAP. Focus map, property of focus map, return an object that implements IMAP interface of map class. Interface IMAP. So we have to use focus map property, but there's a small problem here. Now we have a pointer to iDocument interface, and we need to obtain a pointer to IMX document interface, because focus map is a property of IMX document. Focus map here is a list of properties of IMX document, not iDocument. So how we can do that? We need query interface, QI. Let me to show you by coding. At first, I have to declare a variable of IMX document. IMX document. Again, we don't have IntelliSense. Maybe we need to obtain a reference of IMX document. And what is the reference of IMX document? ArcMap UI, interfaces, IMX document interface. IMX document interface in ArcGIS ArcMap UI. So you have to add ArcGIS. Oh, you have it. ArcGIS ArcGIS ArcMap UI. So it's enough to clear namespace. ArcMap UI. And this document is correct. This document, what we need is the cast. IMX document. We cast document to IMX document type, and then assign to IMX document. So now we have a pointer to IMX document interface, and we have access to focus map property that returns IMAP interface, which is the interface of map class in Carto. So at first I declare a variable of IMAP, and we don't have IMAP, and you may know IMAP here is Carto, and in help, developer help, okay, in Carto, faces IMAP interface in ArcGIS Carto. So in our list of namespace, we don't have ArcGIS Carto. So we have to add, right click on reference and add reference. And then select extensions and Esri. ArcGIS Carto. Check it. And okay, here we have ArcGIS Carto, and just we need to using s3.arcgis.carto. Map and mix document dot window activated view, active view, contents view, activated view, active view, and contents view properties of mx document class. And we need focus map, which returns IMAP. That focus map, which returns IMAP, is read only. I tell you about it. Okay. Obtain a reference pointer to IMAP interface in map class. The last part is to obtain a reference to layer class and then read the name of layer. Carto here, map class, and here's a wormhole layer in layer Carto, and the page of tree in Carto object model, the page of tree. And here is layer class and layer interface. So map class, you have to find method and property again to obtain a pointer to layer. And here is layer property. Take a parameter in long integer and it returns layer. So you have to use layer property to get the first layer and with the index of 0. Okay, you have to declare layer pointer. Okay, layer, have access to layer because we added as ArcGIS Carto for map, and layer map dot layer index of 0 because we want to read the name of first layer in our activated data frame. The second layer is with the index of 1. But we have an error because in programming ArcObjects using C#, when you want to use properties that takes parameters like layer, layers, and surround, when you want to get the value, you have to add get underline before the name of property. Get underline. Now it's correct. When you want to set value, you have to add set underline before the name of property. Okay, we have a pointer to layer face in the page of free of layer class, and here is layer interface in layer class, and this is a name property which returns string, which is the name of layer. Okay, don't worry about this. I think this is a mistake, but I don't know why Azure developers do not correct it, because these properties and method is in iLayer interface, not IGO dataset. Okay, let's get the name, string name, layer.name, and to show the name, you can use message box class, which is in system.windows.forms, that we don't have it. Right click on references, add reference, system.windows. You can search it, system.windows.forms. Okay, and then using system.windows, system.windows.forms, and the box name. We build our solution, will succeed. If we run our project, you have to close ArcMap application and then start. Okay, if you get this error, you have to set the correct path for your project. I right click on my project name and the properties, and then debug, start external program. We have to set ArcGIS in debug, desktop, bin, and ArcMap exe. We have to set ArcMap, the correct path of ArcMap exe to your project, and then start. Okay, session 1. Customize menu, add-in manager. Here is our add-in. Our add-in get layer name, in category add-in controls, get layer name, type of button, and click on customize button to go to customize window, and then common. You have to find add-in controls category. Here is add-in controls category and get layer name, our add-in. You can add it everywhere you want in your menu, in the toolbar, and you can add your new toolbar. Session 1. Okay, here's our toolbar, and then get layer name to our toolbar, and then close. Okay, when I click on it, we can see the name of first layer. This was our first session of Introduction to Programming ArcObjects. I hope that can help you to be familiar with ArcObjects programming.